Hey folks, welcome to the Rain Channel. Today I am joined by Kyle Argo of Equiton. Kyle, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Great.
So, Kyle, we wanted to kind of do this live event, like this live conversations right now, to talk about a live event we've got coming up on October 23rd in Mississauga, and we want to talk about what's going on in the market, in the real estate market, and some of the challenges that people are facing. So, why don't we start by just quickly, who is Kyle Argo? What is Equiton? Just a kind of a brief 30-second elevator pitch, and then we'll talk about what are the problems that we're facing these days.
Of course. So, yeah, introducing myself, obviously, I'm Kyle Agro. I'm one of the associate vice presidents here at Equiton. I help investors be able to invest in real estate without actually having to be a landlord themselves. So Equiton prides ourselves in making real estate investments available to everyday Canadians, essentially.
Beautiful. Now, on October 23rd, we're doing a rain event. Equiton is going to be the key note and the kind of primary driver behind some of the conversations that we're having, which is how do we continue to invest in real estate? How do we grow a portfolio without facing the headwinds of today, which is high interest rates, big stress test, having to qualify in general for a mortgage. And Equiton provides an alternative in terms of when we look at solutions to those kind of problems. You guys have been around a long time. You've got some really great projects going on. But why don't you fill us in a little bit about what people will learn on October 23rd?
I think you kind of hit some of the points there right on the head there, Patrick. When I say that, I mean it's becoming harder and harder for people to be able to invest in real estate just with the macroeconomic environment, especially monetary policy, interest rates moving in a certain direction. And because of immigration, because of some of the challenges associated with actually building, it's becoming more and more of a challenge for people to be able to use this as an investment model, which I think most people would like to get their foot wet in the real estate market. So what we're going to go over is a few different ways that people can do that without having to come up with those massive down payments that we're seeing these days, without having to essentially qualify for an additional mortgage, and without having to have some of the headaches that come with being a landlord or a tenant. A landlord of tenants.
So when we look at the opportunities that exist, Equiton, if we break down the model, would you describe it as a REIT? Is it an LP? Are we buying and investing in individual units? Are we investing in overarching projects? What's the kind of a little bit of behind the scenes there?
So from a really high level overview, we do have three different investment models, and I'm actually going to explain the structure of it as well, just because you went into the REIT, you went into the LP, that type of thing. So first of all, let's look at what we did here, okay? We have three different investment models. One of them is like a direct alternative to owning your own rental property, where you can take advantage of a portfolio of rental assets, and you actually can create that passive monthly income that I know a lot of people are looking for these days. Plus, you get a piece of the appreciation to do with all of the buildings that are within that portfolio. Not too much detail, but that's really a high level overview of the first investment model. The second one, we call it our income and development fund. This one is great for people who are looking for that one-stop shop. They just want to make a single investment in real estate, and they want to get a lot of diversification within their portfolio. What we did with this one is we wrapped three major real estate asset classes into one fund. So you get exposure to commercial real estate, you get exposure to large-scale lending, and you get exposure to multiple different land development projects, all within one single investment. The last investment model that we have here, standalone development projects. So this is a way that you can invest into any given project that we have going at any given point in time. And you can get really the high profits that come with that side of an investment model, again, without having to come up with those massive down payments or actually apply for a mortgage. Now, from a structure standpoint, each one of them are pretty much the exact same. So I'm going to explain that. Each different investment model has their own real estate investment trust, mutual fund trust, essentially. Okay, so we set up a mutual fund trust. The reason why we did it that way is because that allows people to invest their registered monies. So things like your TFSAs, RRSPs, LIRAs, and in some cases even RESPs. And what we do is we sell individual units of the trust to individual investors, which gives them direct ownership in that portfolio of real estate or that specific development project. How Equiton comes into the picture is we are just the asset manager or the developer. So we're the ones running these portfolios on a day-to-day to making sure that they're going to be as profitable as possible. With that being said, it's the investors actually own a portion of it through proxy of units of a trust. Their names aren't necessarily on title, but they own through proxy of units of a trust. So it's a great way to get ownership in real estate again without actually having to do the day-to-day.
So there's something here that I want to shine a light on. So first off, if you're listening to this, folks, when you come out in this particular event, we're talking about passive investing and active investing. Equiton's going to bring the whole concept of passive, being able to own real estate and be passive around it so that it's not active. Like the other side of the equation we're going to be talking about is, if you still are out there getting mortgages and able to invest in real estate, we're going to show you the technology that we use to help you do that through DI-Vault. Many of you have heard about it already. If you want to come out and hear a little bit more about it, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about raising capital. These are all active strategies. But then we're going to look at here's how you can diversify, be both active and passive, and lower the risk as well, right? Now I'm getting a bad echo. I got somebody live here that's saying bad echo, which a little bit is what we were afraid of. Thanks, Cindy. Tried to solve that problem, couldn't quite do it. So I hope it isn't throwing you off too bad. And I'll leave more of the talking to Kyle.
Yeah, when you look at real estate as a whole, a lot of people think of it just the active side. With that being said, if you want to roll your sleeves up, you want to do all of the effort on your own, active real estate investing is one of those tried and true type of investment models. It's probably one of the best ways that you can make money in any investment class here in Canada, especially because a lot of the macroeconomic conditions that we're looking at right now. With that being said, usually you're limited to certain property types. So looking at it from a holistic approach and getting those passive real estate investments within your portfolio just really rounds about that whole portfolio, because we're really giving you access to institutional grade real estate that typically investors can't get on their own, like large scale apartment buildings, like condo buildings, the actual build of them, so development projects, large scale lending, and commercial. So it's just making sure that you diversify your portfolio, because different conditions affect different portions of this space different ways. So it's, again, if you're looking at it from a bank perspective, let's call it, and you have different equities and bonds and GICs and those type of things, you can take those same type of approach, but put it in a real estate perspective.
So I get that I've got a bad echo, so I'll keep this a little bit shorter. What I've got to say is this. October 23rd in Mississauga, Oasis Convention Center. This is a live, in-person, free event. And you get to come out, learn about real estate, hang out with some like-minded individuals, get an opportunity to meet Kyle and his whole team. I will be there with J.G. Francoeur, and we will be doing some great and providing some great insights into what's going on in the real estate market. I'll be doing an economic update, and I promise there won't be an echo. Kyle, thanks very much.
Great. Can't wait for it. Everybody, make sure you're there October 23rd. You don't want to miss this one.
Be there. Thanks, Kyle.
No problem.